It's time for Down on the Corner with Dale Hoffman, North Arkansas's premier news talk program. Brought to you by Brewed Awakening Coffee, with 3 locations to serve you. Baxter Regional Medical Center lobby, Highway 62 412 at Balmer Boulevard, and the Walmart East Plaza. And now, Down on the Corner.
Good morning, North Central Arkansas and Southern Missouri. It is Tuesday, July 31st, 2018. It is 7 a.m.
Whoop, whoop.
And there he goes again. Whoop, whoop. And welcome to Down on the Corner program. Dale Hoffman, your host, along with Scooter Callis. Matt's here with us today. You're here early. How you been?
I'm here early.
Yeah. How you been?
Doing well.
Good. So, how about that shower that came through last night? That kind of snuck up on me. I wasn't prepared for that one.
Still wasn't enough rain, though.
Well, no. I mean, we could get close to half a flood and still be dry.
Yeah.
But
it was a good steady rain, though.
it was a good steady rain. My grass is a little bit greener because of it. I mean, it was.
You woke up this morning, your grass was greener.
Yeah,
from the rain
it's not as
yesterday.
brown in some places. And I thought, hey, I may just get some.
When you leave as early as I did, there's nothing green. Everything's just black, and you're finding your way through.
You leave in the dark, don't you?
Yes,
and
I
arrive
do.
in the dark. He
Yes, I
stays
do.
in the dark. Sounds like a song. Thank you, Billy Squire. Anyway, welcome to Down on the program, Down on the Corner program, and we're enjoying Brewed Awakening coffee. We got David Sterling over here and Stetson Painter enjoying some coffee, and it's good stuff.
Good stuff. We're talking about when you can
You're
eat
back on water.
when you can eat your coffee and not drink
Yeah,
it.
slice me off another hunk of that coffee. There you go.
There's something
Brewed
wrong.
Awakening Coffee, 3 locations to serve you in Mountain Home, Balmer Boulevard, Baxter Regional Medical Center lobby, and of course Highway 62 Plaza out by Anytime Fitness. Brewed Awakening Coffee, the best coffee in town. And so, what else is going on?
Not a whole lot. The rain did make for a beautiful morning, though.
Yeah, it did. Nice and cool. Humidity's
Yeah.
up a bit, but nice and cool.
It's all right. It's nice and cool outside. I like those cool, crisp mornings.
Yeah,
And
that's nice.
one for the rain. It'd have been good
It'd be kind
camping
of nice camp
weather.
along some river somewhere,
Yep.
wouldn't it? You
Yep.
know, your feet sticking out of
I'm
the
a
timber.
camping fan. I love camping.
Yeah, a lot of fun. Morning prayer brought to you by Roller Funeral Homes of Arkansas. With all our respect, Roller Funeral Homes across the state of Arkansas. When the need arises, choose Roller Funeral Homes, the utmost in dignity and honor and professionalism. I was overwhelmed. I'm still thinking about when Brad was here a couple weeks ago, maybe a month or so ago, and by now. But just so professional and willing to bend over backwards to serve you, to meet your every desire for your family member. So when the need arises, Roller Funeral Homes. Let's pause now for our morning prayer. Heavenly Father, before we realize that the midterm elections will be upon us, and then the people we elect now will affect our children, grandchildren, possibly even our great-grandchildren. Lord, we are a country of many people of different races, religions, and beliefs, but regardless, this country was founded on your guidelines. Lord, I pray you give us wisdom to elect leaders that still believe in your commands, and that's my prayer today. Amen.
Amen.
Roller Funeral Homes of Arkansas bring morning prayer each and every day across the state of Arkansas. Roller Funeral Homes. Greg's Farm Services, they bring you.
Dun, dun. Sorry.
Was that kind of like
It's a background noise.
Oh, yeah,
It's,
yeah.
it's the weather.
I thought there was a
People are
cat
good
got
at
in here or something.
Dun, dun, dun.
Morning weather brought to you by Greg's Farm Services. Coming up, it's going to be the big Greg's Wildlife Expo. We're going to take a look real quick at what's going on there and be right back with the weather brought to you by Greg's Farm Services.
Here comes Greg's Wildlife Expo, Saturday, August 11th, Baxter County Fairgrounds, Mountain Home. Wildlife conservation and fun for everybody. Johnny Morris Wonders of Wildlife in Springfield will have live animals and more. Kids under 16 compete for prizes at the First Security Bank Archery Competition, and you can try digital hunting at the DHF Archery Exhibit. Hunting, fishing, artwork, outdoor living, it's all here, and it's all free.
On the farm or around the home, GregFarmServices.com.
Morning weather brought to you by Greg's Farm Services. Greg's Farm Services on the farm, around the home, in the community. Greg's Farm Services in Mountain Home and Midway. Check real quick on their store specials, what's going on. This is the last day of July. Last day on the 24% off the Spirit of 76 sale. Ends today. Now be sure to take advantage now of the fall preseason sale on Husqvarna equipment. You see they're listed,
That cart you wanted, what color was that?
I don't know, green
Oh,
or
yeah.
black. I
It's
don't know.
not part of the sale.
No.
No. You have to go in and paint it red to get it.
They have to carry in 3 cans of paint. Squirt, 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 squirt. You know.
Yeah,
that
me
would,
and Bob were going in.
That'd be
If you
cheap.
didn't
Yeah, I
see
saw
the
you give him a
show.
$10 bill for that
me
swing
and him
blade.
are going for a swing blade. We want to see Dale use it.
I've used them many, many times. Let me tell you. Need a new hat? 20% off all hats in stock. Duramask, 10% off all fly masks in stock. 15% fly mesh sheets. LD44 fogger spray, $13.99 a can. Regular $17.99. Be sure to take advantage of that. Great specials going on right now at Greg's Farm Services. Greg's Farm Services on the farm, around the home, in the community. Greg's Farm Services, they bring you the morning weather each and every day. We currently have 67 degrees in Mountain Home, 65 at Harrison, 68 at Hardy, 66 in Mountain View, 66 in Yellville and Marshall, 67 in Calico Rock. We've got 65 in St. Louis, 69 already in Poplar Bluff in southeast Missouri, 64 at Branson, 65 in West Plains. And in perspective, it's 10 degrees cooler in Watford City, North Dakota. And so on the radar, we do have some showers going on along the state line a little bit east of here. First, we'll take a look at the national scene. We've got showers in Illinois, Indiana, Ohio, and Kentucky. And some of those even scatter into parts of Tennessee. Another line of showers from southern California that stretch across into parts of Arizona, New Mexico, central and south Texas, over into the central part of Louisiana. Let me highlight, I'm going to hit the St. Louis stop first and see that rain shower there. It's maybe the largest. You can see some showers around Poplar Bluff, Donovan, and all the way up to around the Farmington, Missouri area, just south of St. Louis. Showers in Illinois, I-70, Vandalia, Effingham, I-64 around Mount Vernon, and a little bit farther east towards Evansville, Indiana on I-64, closer to Jasper, Indiana. We'll back that up, and we'll go back up to, let's see, that was the Paducah stop. Let's see what this one does. A little bit wider view in Missouri. Showers along I-70, just east of Columbia, west of St. Louis. Same on I-44, north of Rolla, but west of St. Louis. You can see some of the showers now in Illinois and I-57 just south of Champaign-Urbana, Illinois. Closer to home, we'll hit the Springfield stop and take a look at those showers along the Fulton County, what would they be, Fulton and Ozark County line, skirting the state line right
You
there.
went to the Little Rock stop.
That is the Little Rock stop, ain't it? Picking up on the state line. Wow, I didn't think it'd pick up that far. That's affecting, let's see, that would be affecting Highway 63 just south of West Plains, Missouri, coming out of Jonesboro. And so while we're on the Little Rock stop, we have showers on the Louisiana-Arkansas line, showers around Texarkana affecting I-30. For the most part, the highways are clear. Highway 412, 62, east and west in good shape. Highway 65, north-south. Little Rock, Branson, Highway 67, 167 serves Batesville and Poplar Bluff. Looks like it's in pretty good shape. A little bit north of I-40 east of Little Rock, some shower activity might affect Interstate 555 and Highway 63 around Jonesboro. Other than that, not too bad. Southwest Missouri, now we'll hit that Springfield stop, and you can still see that shower activity. Now it looks like Baxter County, Ozark County, what's that county east of Ozark? I forget. Is that Oregon County, I believe, over there in Missouri? Just south and southeast of West Plains a little bit. Nothing real severe. Nothing really severe at all. Southwest Missouri, I-44 will start at Tulsa, Oklahoma to Joplin to Springfield to Lebanon. No problems there. Kansas City, I-70 to Columbia. Looks like it's in pretty good shape as we speak. Hopefully some of these showers could come back. That was a real, I was, I don't know, it was around 5:15 or so. I don't know, 5:30 perhaps. And I was just out and about, and it was basically sunshiny and nice. And I thought, well, I'm going to take a look at the radar. What? Looky there. And about 40 miles east or west was a line of showers. I thought, wow, that's cool. Maybe it'll head this way, and it did. So
you could hear it coming in with all the thunder and lightning. And
yeah, some folks down in Flippin and Cotter said, yeah, we had some pretty lightning. So anyway, let's take a look at the burn ban. We dropped one county from the burn ban. Hempstead County is now out of the burn ban. In the burn ban as of yesterday, 7/30/2018, we have Nevada County, we have Ouachita County, Columbia, Lafayette, and Miller County in the burn ban. 5 counties now instead of 6 in the burn ban in the state of Arkansas. Your wildfire danger continues. A little bit less now. Randolph County, Lawrence County, not as severe. Clay and Greene County, Craighead, Mississippi County still there in northeast Arkansas. Van Buren, though, in Cleburne County, that would be somewhere around Marshall to Heber Springs. in that wildfire danger area. So just got to be careful. You got to be careful no matter where we are in the state. But once again, the burn ban, only 5 counties in a burn ban, and that's in extreme southern and southwest parts of Arkansas. The drought monitor, Missouri stays this, or Arkansas stays the same. We're still in a D1 moderate drought in Baxter, Marion, Carroll counties. It's not as bad going east in Sharpstone and Izard, and it gets even better the farther east you go. They've been getting a little bit more showers. A lot of those showers started, we were getting a lot of those pop-ups. They'd start somewhere around Cherokee Village and Hardy and move east. So basically from Cherokee, Hardy, Ash Flat, in that area over into Ravenden, Imboden, Pocahontas, Paragould, and that's that white area you see right here in Jonesboro, hogging all the rain. So anyway, state of Missouri is still really, really dry. Let me refresh that and double check, but we've got some severe drought. North of the Missouri River there, you can see the red area there. That's a D3 extreme drought. It's pretty severe in Missouri. So it is.
Forecast?
Oh, dry. I think there's no rain. Forecast. Let's see, what are they saying for the forecast today? What would you guess?
Rain. No. I don't know.
Sunny.
Partly sunny, partly cloudy.
50-50 shot of anything.
Yeah,
Huh?
yeah.
Today, 40% chance of showers, high of 80.
Yes, I won.
Tonight, low of 59. Yes, the windows will be open and the attic fan on tonight. Tomorrow, high of 88, bright, sunshiny day. Wednesday night, 62 for the low. 90 on Thursday, bright, sunshiny. We've got sunshine throughout the week. Warms up by the weekend, 91 degrees on Saturday. No chance of rain through the rest of the week. Just going to be kind of late spring, early summer, or late spring,
I'm
yeah,
okay
early
with
summer.
that.
Yeah, it's not bad. 90, 91, that's not bad. Low humidity, I hope. Anyway, what do we got coming up? Community calendar brought to you by Affordable Housing, 741-2883. Need help with your housing? Take a look at Affordable Housing, 741-2883. Global
you got?
Leadership Summit coming up. Do up.
So what do you got?
The Global Leadership Conference comes into Mountain Home, be at Christ Community Church on August 9th and 10th. That's a Thursday and Friday. And your local connection, there's Jesse Caroscio. You can contact Jesse at 321-5545. They have a wide variety of guest speakers that will be presented. You can check this out at willowcreek.com/summit. And it's a great lineup, and it's really, really good if you have influence and the ability to positively impact your community and world, no matter where your influence is in your family, school, work, or church. When you commit to grow your leadership, everyone around you wins. So the Global Leadership Conference, or Summit, I should say, Christ Community Church here in Mountain Home. Local connection, Jesse Caroscio at 321-5545. Buffalo Wild Wings invite you to come and eat with them on the 8th of August from 5 to 8. Come treat yourself and family to some great food. All sales from this event will benefit the Disabled American Veterans Auxiliary. So the DAVA, I'm sure they appreciate the support, and this is a great way to raise some money for the Disabled American Veterans Auxiliary. The DAVA in being supported by Buffalo Wild Wings. And we also have Vacation Bible School starting tomorrow. Let me pull this up real quick. At Buffalo River Baptist Church down at St. Joe. And excuse me one second. Don't you just love organization?
This is a live show.
It is a live show, yeah. We're
I'm
not
just
recording
saying. I'm on.
Vacation Bible School at Buffalo River Baptist Church. I almost had it memorized. August 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 6 to 8:30 p.m. for ages 4 through 6th grade. They do a great job down there at Buffalo River Baptist Church. Once again, Bible school starts tomorrow at 6 p.m. They'll continue Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday for ages 4 through 6th grade. Community calendar brought to you by Affordable Housing, 741-2883. Time for a break. We've got a bunch of great guests for you today, so stick around. It's going to be a surprise. Be right back.
The Ozarks, because I know the people that work there, I know their hearts, and I know that their desire is to help people with the suffering and the anxiety and the things that can come with either terminal diagnosis or a terminal condition. We want them to have a peace of heart and to have a comfort and to know that someone's there to help them through that so they can enjoy the time that they have.
If you want the best breakfast or lunch in the Twin Lakes area, then you've got to come to the Old Time Restaurant. Voted the best breakfast and lunch for 2011, the Old Time Restaurant not only gives you the Southern hospitality right when you walk in the door, they also offer scrumptious breakfast options to curb that early morning appetite. Or stop in later in the day for a tasty sandwich, salad, or a daily special. If a sweet tooth is your guilty pleasure, you can't go wrong with the Pie Lady cooking out over 30 different types of pies. That's the Old Time Restaurant located on the square in Mountain Home.
Diatley Dental Care is a family-owned dental practice. Doctors Irvin and Christina Diatley grew up in the Twin Lakes area and are proud to serve the community. With modern treatment methods and state-of-the-art technology, they are dedicated to providing exemplary care to patients of all ages. Our compassionate team consistently receives training above and beyond the standard of care.
We're changing the way you see dentistry.
Come be a part of our dental family.
With a large showroom of over 13,000 square feet, the Furniture Depot is your local choice for quality name brand furniture at prices anyone can afford. They carry a great selection of catnapper recliners, power recliners with lumbar support and lift chairs. Check out Furniture Depot's variety of living room and dining room sets in various styles and designs. And don't forget about their mattress gallery featuring Serta, Symbol mattresses, and adjustable beds. Family owned and operated, that's Furniture Depot, located in the Ozark Shopping Center in Mountain Home.
Have you ever noticed every time you wash your car, you end up wetter than the actual car? Next time, run down to Car Care and let the friendly staff put a smile on your face. Car Care of Mountain Home has a variety of services to clean your vehicle's needs, inside and out. From a simple wash and shine to their outstanding detailed services. Located 1525 Highway 62 East in Mountain Home. Stop by Car Care in Mountain Home today, because driving a clean car always makes you feel good.
.717 on this last day of July, and I'm very honored to have David Sterling here, who is a candidate for Arkansas Supreme Court, along with Stetson Painter, Congressman Crawford's Field Representative, Brian Plumley, Baxter County Chair for the Republican Party. Gentlemen, welcome. Quite an honor to have you all here.
Thank you for having us.
It's good to be here.
Morning.
So, we know firsthand, we've all talked on the phone several times and over the past couple of years, we know the importance of a strong conservative Supreme Court. We're seeing the example right now play out in Washington. Now we've got it right here in Arkansas. We've got our chance to make our court more conservative and, in my way of thinking, more of a Christian conservative basis. Gentlemen, your thoughts. David, go ahead and we'll let you start and just your basis there.
Well, I agree. I mean, that's what I'm trying to bring to the state of Arkansas. I mean, you're going to see a lot of talk about judicial conservatism over the next few weeks and couple of months as the confirmation hearings for Brett Kavanaugh take place in Washington, D.C. And quite frankly, I'm thrilled to see that discussion taking place on a national level. Of course, we're going to see it here in Arkansas as well. Seeing all the news reports come out, it's going to be a very contentious hearing, Senate hearings and so forth, confirmation hearings. And I think it's a good discussion to have. I mean, it gives the people of the United States an opportunity to understand what judicial conservatism is, understand the concept of constitutionalism, understand the concept of original intent of the founding fathers, the concept of textualism and strict constructionism. And those are all principles that I adhere to as well. So as long as this discussion is going on at a national level, I think it's going to bleed down into this particular Supreme Court race that I'm involved in right now, because those are the kind of judicial principles and judicial philosophy I represent as a candidate for the Arkansas Supreme Court.
You've got to have your feet planted pretty firm to stay conservative in a liberal arena that we've seen over the past 8 years under Barack Obama. So, I mean, you're standing your ground. I'm proud, and that's that's why I'm supporting, because you're firm in your beliefs.
Well, I appreciate that. It's just something that's kind of, I guess, part of my fabric. I joined the Federalist Society back in my second year of law school back in about 1995, and so I've been a member now for about 23 years. It's something that to me is pretty non-controversial. The Federalist Society, while it does get some negative attention sometimes from the left, it is not really that controversial of an organization. Basically what they teach is basic constitutionalism, seventh grade civics basically, which is separation of powers, understanding that the legislature passes laws, the executive branch enforces those laws, and the judicial branch interprets those laws, and that judges should not legislate from the bench.
Yeah, and we hear that quite often. That's what they're doing.
Yeah, well, and I think that what the Federalist Society represents is just that, just a basic understanding of what the role of the judiciary is, and basically encouraging judicial candidates to stay within their lane, and understanding that the legislature is the one that passes laws, not judges, and they should never substitute their ideas and ideals for that of the legislature.
Yeah. We talked about this before, David, when you were here, and I've possibly discussed it with Stetson. For Brian, it may be new, but when the controversy about the nativity scene on the Baxter County Courthouse came up, and how it was worded was a judge made a ruling based on his opinion. But yet, you read the First Amendment, Congress shall make no set form of religion or prohibit the free exercise thereof. He made a ruling based on his opinion. It doesn't say he based it on a law. So is it illegal or legal to put that nativity scene on the courthouse lawn? And you may not be able, because of your position now as a candidate for Supreme Court, may not. And Brian, your thoughts on something like that?
I think that was a particular case of where you got legislation from the bench. I think that ruling came out, it sent shockwaves not only here in the state of Arkansas, but across the nation, to really wake us up and saying, okay, these judges that we have here are not really being judges, they're being legislators. Yeah. And that's where we came out with the term of,
and if you want to be, he based it on separate church and state that does not appear in the Constitution.
Exactly. And I think, we come out and said, if you're going to want to be a legislator, then take off the robe and run to be a legislator. That's fine. Yeah. But do not legislate from the bench. That is one of the most scariest things that can happen in our government at the federal level and at the state level.
That is just what David had said. Go ahead, Brian.
Well, I was just going to say, I think we're in unprecedented times. I'm only 32 years old, and in my lifetime, I can't say that I've ever seen a time where you've seen judges that are trying to legislate. Yeah. These big cities that are sanctuary cities, when it comes to our border, these places do not care about the law anymore. I saw where Philadelphia yesterday is going to break their contract with ICE, and they just don't care about the law. It's unreal anymore.
And then when the president got raked over the coals for separating churches, you people wrote the law. It was signed by Bill Clinton. Yeah. He's following the law and gets in trouble for it. Yeah. So,
well, I think one thing that gets kind of lost in the discussion when it comes to the nativity scenes and so forth is, the First Amendment, has two clauses in it regarding religion. One is the non-establishment clause, but there's also the free exercise clause, and often the free exercise clause gets kind of lost in the discussion. Yeah. The government is so concerned about the perception that they may be trying to establish a particular religion, particularly Christianity, that they lose all perspective when it comes to the fact that they're not allowed to impose on someone's free exercise of religion as well. So I think it's a balance that you have to make, and I think you need judges on
So
the
are the
court.
judges afraid of the opposition? Are they afraid of the Muslims? Are they afraid of the non-believers? Are they afraid of the atheists? What are they? Is there a fear factor that they're afraid of something, perhaps?
I'm not really sure what they're afraid of necessarily. I think that they're just really concerned with the perception that they are trying to establish a particular religion, and I think that they need to be very careful and when it comes to trying to balance the free exercise versus non-establishment of religion. And that's what I would present an option for the Arkansas people and the voters and everything, is someone who will fairly balance those two principles when given the opportunity.
When we go back to the U.S. Supreme Court, the federal court, and they're talking about the approval of Mr. Kavanaugh, we're hearing, oh my goodness, abortion may be ending. They're already looking at, they're afraid we're going to take it away. Think of what we're talking about. We're talking about taking a human life. Stetson, firsthand, your wife's expecting a child. Can you imagine?
I can't.
Can you imagine?
I can't imagine even though
the joy and happiness you felt when you found out you're going to be a dad.
Right. I remember to this day when I first heard my little daughter's heartbeat and saw her on the ultrasound, and that's something that I will never forget. He's already come out and said that he's not going to, if he gets appointed to the Supreme Court by the consent of the Senate, that he's not going to want to go back and change Roe versus Wade. He's not wanting to change that.
Not wanting to, but could they if it comes to the court?
They could. I think it's going to take, what I've heard is it would take something from the lower court to throw it back up to the Supreme Court.
It'd have to go from the appellate courts, wouldn't it, David?
That's correct. Yeah, it has to work its way up. Usually it'll start at the federal district court level, and then, or maybe even a state Supreme Court level. I mean,
really?
There's a possibility. There's two ways you can get to the Supreme Court through the appellate process. One is once the state's highest court has ruled on the issue of federal dealing with the federal Constitution, and you can do a direct appeal to the U.S. Supreme Court. The other way is that it's an action that's filed in the federal district court, which is the lower court, trial court level, and then that'll get appealed to the circuit court. Arkansas is in the 8th Circuit Court of Appeals area, and then from there, if there is typically if there's a split between the circuits and a conflict between the circuits, then the U.S. Supreme Court may take that case, and that's another method that you can get there. So usually it'll originate probably in federal district court and work its way up to the Supreme Court.
So,
and the only reason why he's catching really so much flack is because he's being appointed by Trump.
Oh yeah,
That's 95% of it. I think the other day Senator Manchin, Democrat from West Virginia, has said he's going to come out and meet with Kavanaugh. I think he's the first Democrat that's come out and said he would meet with Kavanaugh. I think the Senate Democrats, especially on the Judiciary Committee, have requested over 1 million documents from his previous time under President Bush to be reviewed. So it's nothing, but they're trying to delay, and I think Senator McConnell, whether you agree with him or not, that's why he's taking the August recess away from the U.S. Senate. So the Senate will not have a recess this August except for the first week, I think, and they're going back in to get nominees
well, they're trying to get it before the
midterms
midterms.
and before the midterms,
November 6th.
because it's going to be a long battle on the Judiciary Committee.
7:28. We're going to take a quick break. Scooter, we'll come back. We'll let David talk some more. We want to hear about his experience and his thoughts for Supreme Court, state of Arkansas. Stick around. Be right back.
Our old burger was only 7 ounces, but now it's 8 with brioche bun and pickles. Comes with its own steak knife, it's really that big. Your best competition is always yourself. Chili's is back, baby, back, baby, back. Oh, baby, Chili's is back, baby, back, baby, back. We're focused on one thing, burgers, ribs, fajitas. Just that one thing, burgers, ribs, and fajitas. We're reeling in our menu because it got out of hand. We had a moment of self-actualization. Chili's is back, baby, back, baby, back. Oh, baby, Chili's is back, baby, back, baby, back.
You've tried medications just cover up the pain, and you've tried dieting to help lose weight. Before you try something drastic like surgery to get rid of the numbness and tingling, why don't you try a better approach to health? Hi, I'm Dr. Charles Osgood, and at Mountain Home Family Chiropractic, we heal the whole person the natural way.
At Mountain Home Family Chiropractic, we take a hands-on approach to chiropractic care, massage therapy, and nutritional counseling. Our 20 years of service has led to successful results.
When I come in to see Dr. Osgood, sometimes after one adjustment, I have immediate relief. Sometimes it takes 4 or 5 adjustments.
I recommend Mountain Home Family Chiropractic because it really works and keeps me pain-free.
Mountain Home Family Chiropractic supports the community by donating to Mountain Home Food Basket and the Lions Club. Request an appointment with us today at Mountain Home Family Chiropractic. Excellence for your body and frame alignment.
Hi, I'm Ricky with Arch Trash Pickup. If anybody needs trash service in the area, please give us a call. Arch Trash Service is veteran owned, and I've been in the local area resident for over 20 years. I'll provide a better service than the other guys, and even provide front door service trash pickup for those that aren't able to take their trash to the curb. We'll also pick up almost anything and even provide free recycling. I am Ricky with Arch Trash Pickup, and please give me a call for all your trash service needs.
Hello, I'm Charles Ferguson. Here at Mountain View Chevrolet, we still do business the old-fashioned way with honesty and integrity. And we have a good inventory of new Chevy cars, trucks, and SUVs from large to small. Our service department has all GM certified technicians, and our friendly salespeople are ready and eager to fit a car truck to your needs in a price range you can afford. We also have a lot full of pre-owned cars and trucks, program and new car trade-ins to choose from. So come see us at Mountain View Chevrolet.
Jim Brown Company keeps you cool when it's hot and warm when it's not. A trusted name in the mountain home community, Jim Brown Company provides timely heating and cooling installation and repairs. Our certified technicians incorporate new technology on every job to provide you with the most advanced services. At our metal fabrication shop, we handle projects big and small. We've created everything from commercial ducts to custom designs.
I'd recommend Jim Brown Company to my friends and neighbors. The reason being they have high-tech equipment, their service techs are well qualified for the job that they do, and they also send me a report after all the work is done so I know exactly what my unit's doing.
By visiting our showroom, you can learn all about our heating and cooling products. We'll educate you on your options and help you decide on the right solution. For total comfort at your home or business, choose Jim Brown Company. Quality service with a family name since 1964.
Nemus Pizza. (7:32). Our guest today, David Sterling, candidate for Arkansas Supreme Court, joined by Stetson Painter, Congressman Crawford's Field Representative, and Baxter County Republican Chair Brian Plumlee. David, let's talk a little bit about you personally and your experience. And you've got quite a responsibility right now in what you do.
That's true. That's true. Just give you a little background on me. Lifelong Arkansan. I grew up in Texarkana on the right side of the state line, on the Arkansas side. My father was a carpenter, my mom was a nurse, and they really kind of taught me a lot about, hard work and perseverance growing up. My dad worked long hours and weekends trying to put food on the table, and my mom actually put herself through nursing school as an adult to try to help make ends meet. And I moved away from there 31 years ago to go to college, moved to Little Rock, paid my way through undergrad, through graduate school. I've got a master's in public administration, and paid my way through law school. Met my wife 28 years ago. We've been married now for 26 years, have a 15-year-old daughter. I have been practicing law now for about 2 decades, and 3 years ago the governor asked me to be chief counsel at the Arkansas Department of Human Services, where we have 7,500 employees, budget of about $8.2 billion, a lot of that federal money. And I personally supervise 75 attorneys and a staff of about 172 people all over the state, really taking care of the most vulnerable citizens in our state. I mean, we take care of the elderly as well as children. We take care of the people with developmental delays as well as people with mental illness. Just try to protect kids, try to protect vulnerable adults and everything in our adult protective services and our child protective services. And truly taking care of the most vulnerable citizens in our state, and it's been a very humbling experience over the last 3 years. Never a dull moment around DHS. There's always something going on because we've got basically 9 different program divisions taking care of different populations within Arkansas, and really we touch, we've got a total population in the state of Arkansas of about 3 million people, and DHS probably provides services directly to about 1 million of those people, so roughly a third of them. And I think pretty much everybody in Arkansas has some indirect contact with somebody who receives services. So our services are pretty widespread, and you're right, it is a tremendous responsibility, but it's something that has been very humbling for me, and it's been a great experience for me, and given me a lot of empathy for people that really do have needs that need to be met. And sometimes it is appropriate for government to step in and help some of these folks, and like I say, it's been a humbling experience to try to help as many people as we can.
What surprises me, or what, I don't know if surprise is the right word, but to be able to walk into that office door day by day and just to have 75 attorneys under you, but yet how do you keep your head on straight, because you've got 75 opinions, perhaps 75 egos, 75 agendas, because maybe they don't want to be there forever, they want to step up like you have. How do you keep everything on an even keel?
Well, I've got a tremendous staff. I mean, I can't compliment them enough. I mean, I couldn't do my job without them. I've got really great chief deputy. I've got great deputies that are supervisors over the various units of our of the Office of Chief Counsel, and just tremendous attorneys that are doing the Lord's work really out there. Protecting kids, protecting vulnerable adults, and protecting the agency, protecting the resources of our agency, and trying to treat everybody as fairly as possible. Sometimes DHS makes mistakes, and so we've got an appeals and hearings division that will listen to the appeals when people have their benefits reduced or cut off. People always have the opportunity to have their due process within our agency, and if they're not satisfied with that result, they can appeal that to the circuit court. And so we do I think a great job of really getting resources to people that need it, and trying to really guard jealously the state coffers to make sure that the resources are going to people who truly do need it. And if we make a mistake, I think we've got enough safeguards in place to make sure that those mistakes are corrected.
Have you ever had one of those nights where you wake up in the middle of the night, oh my goodness, I didn't do so and so? Have you ever had one of those? Stetson and Brian, we were
I think I have one of those every night.
As an attorney, man, I tell you what, it's been. I was warned about that in law school, that if you're doing your job, and if you've got the that type of personality, you're going to always wonder about what is that. I mean, there's always opportunities. I mean, you always second guess yourself. Did I incorporate this argument into my pleadings? Did I make this argument at oral argument? There's always something that you always leave out, but you somehow hope that you at least got your point across and did the right thing at the right time. And ultimately, I think ultimately God's kind of in control of all that stuff. I mean, if you were supposed to make that argument, God would have planted that seed in your head and you wouldn't have forgotten it and so forth. But, I think ultimately the Lord's in control of all that. So I try to have a little inner peace about myself, understanding. I mean, it's hard to go home at the end of each day because there's so much stuff left undone. I'm sure you guys feel the same way. But you've got to somehow have balance in your life and recognize that you can't do your job well unless you can actually set it down, go home, decompress, spend time with your family, and get a good night's sleep, and then come back. Because literally, at least at DHS, I'm sure at the congressman's office, and there's always something there. I mean, you could easily spend 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and you'll never get done with it. But it's a matter of being, I guess, well rested and making good decisions. And the way that happens is you have to kind of step away from it, go home, decompress, be with family, and get a good night's sleep.
So I can see where that puts you in good stead with the Supreme Court, because the friends that are already established, Justice Womack, Wood, and of course Chief Justice Kemp, they've all been part of the radio and TV programs here. They say there's a lot of reading.
Mm-hmm.
You know, especially Justice Womack has said there's a lot of reading, you know. And when you get those arguments before you, or whatever they're called, you may have 300 or 400 pages that you have to digest.
That'd be a good day.
Really?
That'd be a really good day. I mean, I've sat as a special justice on the Arkansas Supreme Court before, and the volume of briefs involved in that one case, I mean, it filled up an entire banker box. You know, you've got very lengthy arguments on one side, you've got lengthy arguments on the other side, you've got a lengthy trial court record, you've got lengthy, abstracts and addendums that include all the lower court pleadings and discovery and so forth. And so, you know, all your questions, when you take those briefs home and you start reading through them and you look at the citations and then you pull up those cases that have been cited and read those, and then you see the citations to the record and you reach down into your banker box and you pull out those records that they're citing to. I mean, it can make for it's not a one night reading.
Do you ever just have to graph this out?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I think that's the only way you can do it in a lot of these cases.
Because I think Justice Rhonda Wood said one time, we actually will look at a law and we'll write the law down and do the old 7th and 8th grade diagramming the sentence to break it down between the noun, the verb, and the adverbs and stuff like that.
I think as a textualist and as a strict constructionist, I mean, I think that's probably the most important exercise you can do, because it is about reading the law and understanding what the law says, and not, you know, reading in some ambiguities into the law that don't exist. I mean, if you diagram the sentence that the legislature and the Bureau of Legislative Research, which are, you know, made up of a lot of attorneys that help out the representatives and the senators in our General Assembly, you know, those commas are there for a reason. Those periods are there for a reason. Those words that are chosen are there for a reason, and each one of those words has meaning. So a lot of times, really, to be a good steward of the law, you do need to diagram those sentences and understand what the law actually says.
Wow. Your thoughts? Brian?
That's why we need him on the Supreme Court.
I was hoping somebody would say that. Yeah. You know, Brian, you're getting ready to say something?
Well, I was just going to say, you know, I think one of the hardest things for most people anyways is to be able to look at something and argue both sides of it. And we couldn't have a better candidate for the Supreme Court of Arkansas.
I agree.
And you can tell, I mean, he's got a public servant's heart, and I think with his intelligence and everything else and reading the law, we definitely need him to help guide this state, because the state's got a great future, and it would be a lot brighter if we had somebody like David on the state Supreme Court.
Yeah, I agree. That's why this is his second appearance, and I've publicly endorsed on the air that David is my choice for the Supreme Court. And I'm looking forward to the swearing-in ceremony.
Well, you guys are
if I get an invite, I'll be my third one.
I'm starting to blush over here. I appreciate all the endorsements and everything.
Well, I think bottom line is common sense. You've got a vast experience, but you've got the knowledge that we need on that court. But, like, you know, when they say there's two sides to every story, what you have demonstrated in my mind's eye, yeah, we've got this side and this side, but yet when you combine the two, you've got a 360-degree circle here that you've got to look all the way around that circle, even though there's two opinions. See what I'm trying to say here?
Right.
It's not just I'm looking over this side, I'm looking over this side, but you've got a full circle that you've got to encompass yourself to see every angle of both opinions that I didn't realize until you were sitting there talking about all of this stuff in your banker's box of going through. Because, I mean, this is not like reading the comics out of the Sunday paper, just reading just something fly by night. You have to study, comprehend, understand, go back, study, read, comprehend.
And I think you need someone that's actually going to be fair and impartial as well. I mean, you don't start out just because, you know, you might have leanings this way or you might have leanings that way, to kind of put your thumb on the scale and kind of, you know, have kind of an outcome in your mind before you start reading the briefs. I think that one thing I've learned in my 20 years of practicing law is that, I mean, sometimes when I make this argument, of course, I can only see it through that lens, and of course everything the other side says is completely wrong. But I recognize that from this perspective, these guys have put a lot of work into that. They really believe what they've said, and in their minds, they are completely right, and you may be, completely wrong. As a judge, you got to kind of recognize that these are both good faith arguments that are being made by lawyers on behalf of their clients. The clients want to have the opportunity and have the reassurances to know that the judges that are looking at those arguments is looking at it not from this perspective and not from that perspective, but just fairly impartially looking at those arguments, understanding what the law is, and whether they agree with that law or disagree with that law, to apply that law that the legislature passed in order to make that decision.
You guys have thoughts on that, Brian?
That's what you need. I mean, and that's, I think, reassuring as a constituent, as a voter, whether you lean this way on a party or lean that way on a party. You do not want that in your Supreme Court. You want, if the legislature is going to write the law,
because the law doesn't have a D, R, or I behind
it. And before the executive branch enforces it, that judicial branch is the key to make sure that it is constitutional. And whether it's written by Republican or Democrat lawmakers, it does not matter, as long as it fits in that Constitution. And it's nice to hear, because sometimes you don't get that way on your Supreme Courts. It's nice to say, well, this law, I don't care who it is, what it means, who wrote it, it's going to fit in the Constitution, or it's not constitutional.
And the way that you amend the laws, if you disagree with them, if the law is written from one perspective under a previous General Assembly and you disagree with it, it's not up to the judge to change that law. It's up to the General Assembly to take it up. It may be the role of the judge to kind of say, here's what the law says, this is what the legislature wrote, and hopefully the legislature is actually listening, and if they decide, you know what, that was a very controversial decision that came out of the Supreme Court yesterday, we might want to take this up in the next legislative session and either change that, or I think that was the right outcome and we need to leave it the same. But that discussion and the debate can and should take place in the legislature, not within the confines of the 7 justices of the Arkansas Supreme Court.
And with that, we're going to take a break. Coming up on 7:47, we'll be right back. Nemus Pizza in Gassville, Arkansas is your home for national and international award-winning pizza. Nemus Pizza offers artisan-made award-winning pizza with only the freshest and finest of ingredients. Each pizza is made from scratch and hand-tossed at the time you place your order. And also check out their calzone strombolis, an oven-baked folded pizza stuffed with your choice of meat. Sauce can be on the side or included inside at your request. Nemus Pizza in Gassville, Arkansas, your home for award-winning pizza. Do you ever feel like your butt's dragging and you could really use a lift? Ozark Diesel Off-Road. Ozark Diesel Off-Road has been installing lifts for over 25 years. They specialize in all your off-road vehicle needs, from general repairs such as engine diagnostics, clutch and brake repair, to custom fabrication like axle gears and lockers, leveling and suspension kits, and everything in between. So if your vehicle could really use a lift, head to Ozark Diesel Off-Road, located at 5051 Highway 62 East, or give them a call at 870-425-LIFT.
Do you know where your money goes when you give to charity? At the Salvation Army, 85 cents of every dollar stays to help those in need in our local community. Hi, I'm Captain Spaulding. The money we raise help people in the surrounding 5 counties, including Baxter, Marion, Sharp, Izzard, and Fulton. You can help by donating your unwanted items and by shopping at the Salvation Army store. Those in need get assistance with rent, utilities, sending kids to camp, and many other things. When it comes to this charity, the Salvation Army always helps those in our community.
So there I was, naked as a jaybird in the shower with soap in my hair and eyes, when I lost water pressure down to a dribble. I immediately grabbed my towel and dialed up Jake at JM Sales and Pump Service. Jake came right over and fixed my water pressure. Now I can take my showers with confidence. Just call Jake.
For all your sales and pump needs, just call Jake at JM Sales and Pump Service, 870-431-5445. He offers high-quality stay-right product.
Why would I?
.49, visiting with David Sterling, who's the candidate for Arkansas Supreme Court. That election comes up on November 6th, I believe. Is that the first Tuesday in November? I believe that's the election.
That is the election, yeah.
Yeah. Along with Stetson Painter is Congressman Crawford's field rep, and Brian Plumlee, Baxter County Republican chair. And I'm going to ask you again, you maybe have more time to think about, genie in the bottle and you get 3 wishes. And it's all you're in the Supreme Court and you've got 3 wishes and you can better this state, how would you do it?
Oh my gosh, you didn't prepare me for that question.
Neither was the governor.
My first wish would be for 3 more wishes.
There you go. Never up to 5.
No, I think the first wish would put me on the Supreme Court. I mean, I really think that would. I mean, that would be a real dream come true for me, to be able to be in a position to try to positively affect this state and the momentum that it's moving in right now. There are 3 legs of the stool as far as the legislative branch, the executive branch, and the judicial branch, and I think that having someone who's trying to bring to this state a judicial philosophy of judicial conservatism, where you're focused on the Constitution, you're focused on the text of the given laws and regulations, and and basically deferring to the appropriate branches. I think that that's an important key in our state, it's at least on the judiciary. So.
Well, let's clear something up. Have a conservative justice on the Supreme Court. That doesn't mean you're going out there to change laws, because you can't do that. What you're there is to make sure that the existing laws are being followed to the T.
Well, yeah,
and that's what it is to be a conservative, in my opinion.
Well, that may be, but I mean, I really want to make a distinction here between conservatism in general, political conservatism and judicial conservatism. Yep. I mean, I'm not talking about bringing to the court, political conservatism, because I don't think that politics really has much of a role on the judiciary. But from a judicial perspective, judicial conservatism, focusing on the Constitution, focusing on the original intent of the founding fathers who wrote the Constitution, focusing on the text of the laws and regulations that are properly vetted through the legislature and properly promulgated by the executive agencies, making sure that everything falls in line with the Constitution, and if it falls in line with the Constitution, having some deference there, and having some basically just understanding that ultimately it's not my opinion that should rule. I should not be legislating from the bench, nor should any other judge be legislating from the bench. Judges are not policymakers. That's left to the role of the legislature.
Wow. Gentlemen, your thoughts, Stetson?
No, I totally agree with David. I think the political game needs to be played out in the legislature. That's, I think they're more at answering to the people. They have that close distance than we do between the Supreme Court, and that's where the games and all that stuff should be done right then and there, and then write a good law, and then the judicial.
Okay, I'm gonna put you two guys, because later on in life we're gonna see you two guys in some public office, whether it be the state senate or house or the governor's office, whatever it may be. Here's what I'm sick and tired of from the legislature. I'm tired of all these hidden little things back on page 16, line 23.
Yeah.
Where, and I've used this silly scenario before, I want to pass a law that has purple stop signs and yellow print, but at the same time somebody says, well, I want to paint the highways red.
Mm-hmm.
As stupid as it sounds, we've even Rick Crawford, the main thing, came up with the mitigation fish hatcheries. Why can't we get full funding? Well, because you got a guy in Cleveland don't understand, a guy in New York don't understand. So if you want to give him purple stop signs with yellow print to sign your bill, you do. Well, this is how stupid it is. I'd like to see the law being made for one purpose with no hidden agendas within the pages. And you see that.
And you do. And two is in some circumstances, sometimes it's nice to put something in there that's not non-controversial in the bill. Sometimes in Congress they have land transfers between different things. Usually those are if they're small, they're non-controversial. You'll see those put in there because why do you want to waste a whole week of debate on a 0.5 of an acre of federal land to be transferred because the survey back in 1920 was wrong or whatever? Why do you want a week of debate on that? But either major legislation, that's where you hear the term poison pills that are put in legislation. It's a good bill until page 16 where it has this funding to go to butterflies or whatever, and it ruins the whole bill. So what people will talk to you about is why did you vote against this bill? It helps funding for kids or whatever, and sometimes trying to get them to understand that
we had that
the
with
reason
the veterans. What was the veterans income tax? We put the tire tax.
Right.
Well, she voted for the tire tax. No, she voted for the veterans, but that was in
right.
So how do you handle something like that when you've got a law written, but you've got so many little pig trails in there? How do you separate the pigtails from the law?
Well, it sounds to me like the pigtails are part of the law. I mean,
there you go.
Again, it's not up to me as a judge to say, well, this shouldn't have been part of the law necessarily. I mean, there may be times when that comes up when it comes to germaneness and that sort of thing. Whether or not, that's actually going to be something that's going to be played out in the Arkansas Supreme Court this year. Issue 1, which has to do with tort reform. It has some, different elements in it. It's got about 3 or 4 different elements to it, and there's been a legal challenge that's been filed, trying to strike it down, get it off the ballot and everything, based on the argument that one provision in there, which relates to reducing the legislative majority necessary to change or amend a rule of practice or proceeding, practice, pleadings, and proceeding. They're trying to reduce that from 2/3 down to 3/5, and the argument is that particular provision is not germane to the rest of the referendum, and that people shouldn't have to swallow this, if you want to say this non-germane piece of the bill or the referendum in order to vote for these other parts of it. So that's going to be something that's going to be playing out before the Arkansas Supreme Court in advance of the November 6th election.
Really?
And so sometimes that does come up, and we'll see how that plays out. But I'm not taking a position one way or the other on that.
There you go. Smart move. About 3.5 minutes, gentlemen, before we end the show. We're going to go to breakfast at Old Time. So make plans to run over to Old Time Restaurant on the Square in Mountain Home here at about 8:15 and meet David Sterling. Can you all come on down?
Yeah.
Sure you can.
I'll come on down.
Congressman Crawford, here he is going to be eating breakfast. Final thoughts, gentlemen, about 3 minutes.
Well, again, I appreciate the opportunity to be here. It's a true honor being up here in this area of the state. I appreciate being on your program again. And again, I'm just
You're always welcome.
Well, I appreciate it. Looking forward to getting out here and meeting the people throughout the state, particularly in this area, and letting them know about my judicial philosophy of judicial conservatism, understanding. I think that people are looking for, candidates that have, the right experience, the right values, and someone who's going to actually understand that ultimately the Constitution is what should guide
Yes.
a judicial candidate, and particularly a judge when they're on the court, and that's what I represent. So, and I promise the voters of Arkansas that if you elect me, I will serve with honor and integrity throughout my term. So, really appreciate the opportunity. Really appreciate your vote.
Stetson, Brian.
Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, I think it's so important in this day and age that we have, that we elect people that are for the Constitution, that uphold the Constitution, and not to get into the political end of it, but our friends on the other side of the aisle have, openly said that Kavanaugh should not be, they shouldn't vote for Kavanaugh from the standpoint that he's for the Constitution. Yet those same people put their hand over a Bible and swear by it that they will uphold the Constitution, which completely contradicts itself. So,
I couldn't agree, and it's nice to, I think, for Arkansas voters to listen to a candidate for Supreme Court that understands the difference between legislative role and judicial role, and it's so nice. And David, wish you nothing but the best. And Arkansas has a big election, especially with the referendums coming up and so forth like that. And just Americans in general have a big election in November, could sway the House and the Senate. So it's going to be interesting to see.
Can we get a shot straight of David right here and let him talk directly to the people for a minute? We got one more minute before we end the show. Just, David, go right ahead. This camera right here where Matt's standing and talk to the folks here. Just.
Well, again, thank you. But to the voters of Arkansas, I am presenting you an option on the November ballot, someone who is going to be true to the Constitution, someone who is an originalist, someone who is a strict constructionist, someone who's a textualist. All those concepts you're going to be hearing about quite a bit over the next few weeks and couple of months as the confirmation proceedings with Brett Kavanaugh are being played out on the national level. And just understand that as you listen to that debate, that's the kind of judicial philosophy I'm offering the people of Arkansas. I've been a member of the Federalist Society now for about 23 years, and that kind of concept is what that organization is all about, and it's what I'm all about. And I'd really appreciate your vote on November 6th.
With that, we've got to run. We'll see you tomorrow. Thanks, David, for being here. Stetson
Thank you,
and
Jim.
Brian, we'll see you tomorrow. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.